Hi guys, and welcome back to another Dot Race video, and today we're going to be playing Monster Energy Supercross 5. Yes, the time has finally come. Apologies, the video is a little bit later than I would have expected, but I've finally had the chance to play the latest installment of the Supercross franchise, and I have my first impressions for you today. This is the very first time I've played Supercross 5 using Justin Barcia on board the Gas right here in Arlington, Texas. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of my initial feedback from Monster Energy Supercross 5, I would like to give a big shout out to a friend of mine, Antonio, for actually providing me a code for this game. I really appreciate all the support, as always, from anyone who supplies a code for me, and Antonio has done it numerous times now, so thank you for that. I really appreciate it. This video would not be possible without your assistance. But now that's over and done with, let's crack on with the first impressions. And the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to start off with a positive, move into the negatives, and then of course finish on a high with more positives. So let's break it down then with my positives, starting off with the graphics. I think they're a good improvement on Supercross 4. They're not massive improvement, they're not going to be absolutely groundbreaking in any way, shape or form. But what I do feel that Milestone have got right this year with Supercross 5 is the lighting. I feel that the lighting was the biggest and most noticeable difference the second I turned on Supercross 5 and started this race with Justin Barcia. It seems that the lighting was just accurate across all parts of the track. Even some of the other tracks I tried briefly after making this particular video, I did feel that they did a great job with the lighting, and the way I'm going to describe it is it's accurate. It's much better and it's much similar to what you see on television. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a massive thumbs up for the lighting. Of course, that isn't the be-all and end-all parts of the graphics. Of course, we've still got to look at the way the riders look, the way the bikes look, and to be honest with you, I'm quite satisfied. There's a few minor issues that I've got, like for example riders with longer hair. I'm not really seeing it flow at the back of the helmet, but it's okay. You know, at the end of the day, that's one of the extra steps that probably need to look at in the future. But for now, I'm happy with the way the rides look, I'm happy with the way the bikes look. I do feel that the bikes look a bit more accurate in the sense of size. Last year I wasn't too sure on some of the bikes, it looked a bit bigger or smaller than I would have expected, but I feel that they've done a good job with getting the size of the bikes correct. Now, some of the things I will mention when it comes to graphics, which I don't know whether you want to include or not, but I am going to include it anyway, is I really like the way the UI and the heads-up display looks. I think it's very clear, and it's a lot more friendly to read compared to last year's. Now, I'm not saying last year's was bad, but I think it's still a little bit more clearer with the bolder text and just brighter colours in general. I think it looks and feels better, and it's just much easier to read. And I think that's very, very important, and it's very underrated. Because if you have a bad UI and a bad heads-up display, it can really mess up the game, so big thumbs up for getting that right as well. And before we move on to the not so great parts of Supercross 5, I would like to mention that this video was recorded in a native 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, so if you're taking advantage of that, definitely watch it in that, because you can get a good understanding of how good the game looks in 4K. And of course, if you are enjoying the content so far, give me a little like and also consider subscribing as well. But now we must move into the negative parts, because there is a big negative in this that's kind of ruining my experience so far, and that's a few bugs I've found and the AI. The AI in Supercross 5 are pretty bad. In some races they're not too bad, you can get away with it and you can have a decent time, but in some tracks and in some combinations the AI are really bad. They are extremely aggressive, which for me is not that negative. I don't mind the riders being aggressive, I can fight back with the best of them, but they are a bit clueless. And what I mean by that is you'll see them in this video just charging into some corners, making way too many mistakes, crashing, getting in your path, jumping on top of you, and in some cases just flying off the track and hitting the outside barriers. Really bizarre stuff, especially considering that the Supercross 4 AI was pretty tough, but not ridiculous. It was enjoyable. But I will be honest with you, this has kind of ruined my experience. I recorded this first gameplay with Justin Barcia. I had a good time, it was not too bad. There was a few issues which I'm going to discuss in a moment. But when I tried the 250cc race, the Christian Craig, it was just awful. I didn't even finish the video, I'll be truly honest with you, I didn't actually finish it. I quit the video halfway through because I wasn't even enjoying it, and that's rare for me. I really love Supercross and I could not wait for this game to come out, but the AI needs a fix ASAP. But I'm going to move on from that from now, and we'll continue to watch the AI do their thing during this particular race and to see what happens. But I will mention there has been a few bugs. Nothing game-breaking, but at the same time it is a bit jarring when you see it. The first one I'm going to mention is when we're in helmet cam, as you can see right now. You won't see it until the whoop section. When we get to that tabletop section, you'll see it straight away, but I will spoil what is going to happen. The rider's hands will disappear. I've experienced this with the 2 or 3 riders from briefly playing after this particular first recording, and every single time it did it in the whoop section. Don't know why that is, but hey ho, the hand just decides to disappear. So in a moment when we get to the whoop section, you'll probably see the riders of Justin Barcia's hands just disappear really bizarrely. Now that isn't all of the bugs. You're going to see some more bugs during this particular race, which is a little bit more annoying, of course. And there's the hands. There they're gone. Did you see them disappear just like that? Yep, I don't know why, but that's a thing in Supercross 5 that needs to be fixed. But to flick it back up on its head, the gameplay elements feel great in Supercross 5, and the reason why I mention this now is because it's actually a negative as well as a positive, which is a bizarre thing to say. But the bikes feel great in Supercross 5, very responsive and very easy to pick up and play. I had a lot of fun playing Supercross 5 when the game worked well. However, when the bikes don't work so well, they do feel a little bit sluggish, and it can happen before you go up for a jump or when you land the motorcycle. Sometimes the bike can just do strange things. You can land it perfectly, you feel fine, but the bike just might go all haywire, and I don't know why that happens. The biggest thing I'm really struggling with, which I don't understand why it is on Supercross 5, is you can try and move the bike in the peak of a jump before you actually go to jump, but the bike won't register it. It's as if it's a delayed movement when you're trying to jump. So you can fight it as much as you want, trying to whip the motorcycle where you need to be, but it still doesn't let you move it. Now, I'm not saying that they don't give you any in-air control whatsoever, because they clearly do, but it just feels a bit odd. Sometimes you can go into a jump and you feel like, just before I get to the peak of the jump, I'm going to move the handlebar a little bit more to the right, so I will jump to the right. What you find is it completely disregards what you said, and it still continues to go in the direction that you did before you moved, as if the whole run-up of the jump is already premeditated, if that makes sense. A little bit odd, to say the least, and it's very hard for me to explain, and I hope that has explained it well, but that is one of the things I found was really annoying. The bikes felt great, and honestly I got myself really immersed into this particular couple of laps with Justin Barcia, and I felt great. And then every now and again, you go up to the peak of a jump, you're in a perfect position, you might move the analog stick a little bit more just to try and get more to the right hand side or more to the left, and it disregards what you've just done. So in effect, your handlebar is pointing at an angle, going diagonal up a jump, and it literally lifts over it with a diagonal jump, but unfortunately it still goes straight. It happened every now and again. I really wish I could show you. You may have already caught notice of it already while watching this video, but it's very, very jarring. But that still doesn't equal the most jarring and annoying thing I've found in Supercross 5. Just watch this. What is that? I mean, I'm going to show you again in the replay mode. What is that? I really have no idea. And unfortunately, guys, this invisible barrier glitch isn't the only time I've seen it. It does happen on the next lap in the same corner, but in a different spot. Now, I'm guessing that is probably one of those little glitches that Milestone can patch out pretty quickly, and I'm hoping for the best. But that is a pretty egregious bug, to say the least. Now, if I was racing competitively and this was a career mode or a race online that I really wanted to get the victory on, and that was my comeuppance, crashing into an invisible barrier that has zero place being there. Yes, I know it's a bug, but that would peeve me off. And you know what? I'm still annoyed about it now. I wasn't even racing competitively. I was literally doing this video for the sole purpose of just making a first impressions, making mental notes, thinking about details that could be useful for the first impressions and some that aren't, and it happened. I was so disappointed, and I think that's the biggest thing about this, is I'm disappointed. I'm not angry, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I love these Supercross games, I love Milestone bike games, I think they're fantastic, but I can't let that slide. It's egregious, and it's almost game-breaking, so Milestone, please, please get that fixed. Now, before we continue, I want to reiterate that this is my first impressions of Supercross 5. If you want to see a more in-depth, deeper dive into Supercross 5, hit that subscribe button because I've got a review coming very, very soon. But for the first initial impressions for today, I would like to discuss a few more things. The first one being, I don't understand why the riders aren't up to date. Now, I do believe that these games are done every year, but in a way that isn't up to date. They're kind of a year behind. I don't understand the reason behind it. I'm guessing there's a perfect reason for it, and I probably just missed it along the way. But if anyone knows exactly why that is, let me know in the comment section down below, because I'm very, very curious. But before we conclude this video, we do have 2 more laps remaining. 18th place for us right now, which is extremely disappointing for my debut race in Supercross 5, but I think you can excuse me because, as I mentioned earlier, I was prioritising mental notes, looking at the game's details, looking at the way the game plays, and also feeling it in the controller rather than just racing it and kicking ass. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that, but I hope the first impressions was helpful to you, and if it was helpful, let me know in the comment section down below, and also consider hitting the like and subscribe button. Now, at the beginning of this video I mentioned that I wanted to end on a positive note. I can say we can end on a positive note because during this voiceover and editing this particular video, I've actually already been in touch with Milestone. I have a contact there who have been able to speak with and inform him of these bugs, and not only that, send them videos and pictures of the bugs that we've encountered here today. So I'm hoping with the minor influence I've got by sending them those images and those files, I'm hoping that they can get them fixed for us, because I want Supercross 5 to be a great game. It will be a great game when those bugs are fixed, and then I can probably recommend it to you then in the full review. But right now, as I've said, I don't tell you any lies. I'm going to keep it as real as possible. Right now, with those bugs in mind, probably wouldn't recommend the game. But this is not a review, this is just the first impressions, and these are my initial impressions for the first ever race I've done in Supercross 5. But I'm going to end on a positive because I'm going to trust Milestone to get it fixed, but we'll see what happens in the future. Of course, stick around for update notes. I will sure to tell you whenever I see any signs of an update, if I hear murmurings about a possible update, or even when I get information when that bug has been fixed, I will let you know in future Supercross 5 content. So definitely stick around, and I really hope you enjoyed this first impressions. But now it's time to call it quits, so thank you very much for watching the video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope this video has been helpful, because that is exactly what I was trying to do in today's video. But upon that note, guys, I will leave you with the final screen. Thanks for watching as always. If you enjoyed, hit the like button and consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and ciao for now. Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite set your appetite, then why not watch some more Dr. Ace content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single Dr. Ace video.